Good day, everyone. I'm A.K. Mongale. I'm the Senior Education Specialist from Mulema District in the Northwest Province. I'll be presenting the price elasticity of demand and supply. So elasticity is the way the price changes a demand or a supply curve. Remember the law of demand: the higher the price, the lower the demand. The law of supply states that the higher the price, the more goods will be supplied in the market. Now, price elasticity of demand is a measure of how much the demand for a product changes if there's a change in price. Then how do we calculate the price elasticity of demand? Our formula for PET, which is our price elasticity of demand, it is equal to the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. The relationship between a change in price and a change in demand is called the price elasticity of demand. Remember, most of these definitions that we are explaining, they are going to constitute our section A, section 1 question, whereby they can be used as in your multiple choice questions or in your match columns or change the underlined weight. So it's very much important that as a learner you comprehend and understand the meaning and definition of this concept that we are explaining. The degree of elasticity, it varies. Sometimes a slight increase in price can cause a big drop in demand. For example, if the cost of one type chocolate bar rose by 20%, many people will stop buying it and buy another similar cheaper chocolate bar. For an example, if the dairy milk chocolate bar, the normal price is 10 rand, and then the producers or the sellers increase the price from 10 rand to 15 rand or even 17 rand. It means the demand for it is going to decline because people can buy Kit Kat instead of buying dairy milk chocolate bar. So as a result, it means the chocolate bar, it has got a lot of available substitute products. So we can say the chocolate bar is price elastic. Now, under inelasticity, example, if the price of petrol rose by 20%, however, some people may buy less petrol, but most would have no choice but to pay the higher prices. So this makes the petrol price inelastic. So the petrol price, the reason why we are saying it is inelastic, it is simply because it doesn't have available substitute product. It means that if you are driving a petrol or a vehicle that utilizes petrol, there's no way in which you can say you are now going to stop buying petrol, you are going to utilize a diesel, because a petrol car is specifically designed for petrol. So as a result, this makes the petrol price inelastic. Now let us look at the simple example of calculating the price elasticity of demand. We've got our frequency table here, our product, we have got tomatoes, and then we've got quantity demanded and the price. Remember that the price is always on our y-axis and our quantity demanded is always on our x-axis. So if the original price of this tomato is 45 rand per box, the quantity demanded is going to be 1000 units. So if the farmers and the producers then decide to sell or increase the prices of this tomato from 45 rand to 60 rand, the quantity demand that we get is 800 units. So it means there's a fall of 200 units from the quantity demanded. Now, when we calculate the change in demand, we are going to say the new quantity demand, which is 800 units, minus the original quantity demanded, which is 1000 units. So it's going to be 800 units minus 1000 units. So we are going to get negative 200 units. So for us to be able to calculate the percentage change in demand, we are going to take this negative 200 units and we are going to divide it by the original quantity demand, which is 1000 units. From there we multiply by 100. And then our answer for the percentage change in quantity demand is going to be negative 20%. From there we go to the change in price. We are going to take the new price, which is 60 rand, this one, and then we minus the original price, which is 45 rand, and then we get a difference of 15 rand. So this is our change in price. But remember, it must be expressed in percentage. So percentage change in price is going to be 15 rand, this 15 rand, and then we divide by the original price, which is 45 rand. From there we multiply by 100. So the percentage change in price is going to be 33%. Therefore, the PET is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So we are going to take this percentage change in quantity demand, which is negative 20% here, and then we are going to divide it by the percentage change in price, which is 33.3%, and then our answer is going to be negative 0.6. So basically, we are going to take 0.6 and then we are going to ignore the negative sign. Now, if the PET is 0.6, the implication is that it is inelastic, because for it to be elastic, it must be greater than 1. So if it is less than 1, it is inelastic, but if it is greater than 1, it is elastic. Therefore, with regard to our answer here, it means this, the implication is that it is inelastic. The implication is that when we interpret the elasticity of demand, we look at the price elastic. If the price is elastic, that is when we get more than 1. And then the interpretation is that the change in demand is more than the change in price. But remember, we got 0.6. Therefore, it means it is not price elastic. Secondly, price inelastic, it is when we get less than 1. You would recall that in our calculation we got 0.6. So that makes the product of that particular product inelastic. So the interpretation is that the change in demand is less than the change in price. Thirdly, we've got the unitary price. When we get exactly 1, it simply means the change in demand is exactly equal to the change in price. Then here is the implication. If PET is more than 1, it is price elastic. So you would recall that in our calculation, in the previous slide, we got less than 1. Therefore, it means it is inelastic. Then a change in price will cause a larger change in demand. So when we calculate our PET and we get more than 1, it means the change in price will cause a large change in demand. Now the opposite is the case if the PET is less than 1. It means the price is inelastic. So now we are going to look at the factors that affect the elasticity of demand. The first one is the nature of the product or its necessity. The more necessary a product is, the more the demand tends to be inelastic. So there are certain products in the market that are of necessity. So we cannot live with those or without those products. So as a result, the increase in those particular products will not result in a shift in the demand curve. It won't be elastic, it is going to be inelastic. Secondly, the brand strength. Products with strong brand loyalty and reputation tend to be inelastic. So more especially your Coke from Coca-Cola, it is having a very strong brand loyalty and reputation. So even if they can decide to increase the prices of Coke, people will still continue to buy it. So as a result, it will be inelastic. Thirdly, habit is one of the factors that influence the elasticity of demand. Products that demanded and consumed as a matter of habit tend to be price inelastic, like your cigarettes and your wine. Even if the finance minister can increase the prices of cigarettes and your wines or syntax, people will still continue to smoke, and they will still continue to consume those heavy drinks. So as a result, they are inelastic, meaning that there are less than one unit. Fourthly, availability of substitutes. Demand for products that have lots of alternatives or substitute products tend to be price elastic, like in our previous example when I was using the chocolate bar, because chocolate bar it has got a lot of available substitutes. If the prices of dairy milk chocolate increases, consumers can desist or stop from purchasing dairy milk chocolate and opt to buy a cheaper chocolate bar such as your Kit Kat or your Lunch Bar. So it makes it price elastic, meaning that it is more than, or it is greater than one. Time. In the short run, price changes tend to have less impact on the demand than over a longer period. Now we are going to look at a market equilibrium. Remember, I indicated that a market is a place whereby the buyers and the consumers, they meet and they interact, whereby selling and buying takes place. So the market equilibrium is a point where the amount supplied by the producer is equal to the amount sold by the buyers. So supply is equal to demand. So where by convention, where supply is equal to demand, we refer to it as the market equilibrium. In your mathematical literacy, where your income is equal to your expenditure or your expenses, they refer to it as the break-even point. But with regard to agricultural marketing, where demand is equal to supply, we refer to it as market equilibrium. The price remains stable because there is neither a surplus nor shortage in the market. We've got an equilibrium price, which is this one. An equilibrium price is when the price settles at a point where the demand is equal to supply. Like in this instance, the price that has settled where demand is equal to supply is three US dollars. So if, let's say, for argument's sake, this was supposed to be rand, it would have been 3 rand or 30 rand. Now remember, I indicated that this curve represents the supply curve, and then this one represents the demand curve. And then where demand is equal to supply, we refer to it as the market equilibrium. And a price that settles where demand is equal to supply, we refer to it as the equilibrium price.